Imagine that Jesus spoke about climate catastrophe. Do you know about it? At the closing of the famous Sermon on the Mount in the Gospel of Matthew, we hear a parable of two people building their homes. One took care and built that home on the solid bedrock, and the other carelessly built it on the sand. Then came downpours and a flood and a hurricane. The well-built house survived, but the sloppy house was destroyed. It is a reminder not to be sloppy, lazy, thoughtless, but to take time, be diligent and thorough, and build on solid grounds. Clearly, something quite memorable at the time of Jesus, but ever more so in our own time of climate change. It is worth of repeating and reminding people, especially when you see all those buildings on Coney Island and Far Rockaway and on sand dunes all around seashores or river floodplains. Why are they so surprised after hurricanes or floods? Jesus spoke about it 2,000 years ago. Don't build on sand. So don't build on sand. But our times gave this maxim more sinister and ugly twist. Because often it is not a personal choice of a builder or homemaker. Dangerous places are those affordable to the poor and the most vulnerable, and the only places. In our times, the greed is involved, and also exploitation of the poor. And thus this is a judgment on our government and on all of us, because we are those who let it happen. That mobile home parks are built on floodplains, and many poor people cannot afford or can find a place to live but substandard housing, if they can afford any housing at all. This Sunday we will speak about the climate crisis, about environmental and also about social justice. How climate change and emerging climate catastrophe threatens entire society, but within it, especially those most vulnerable. Our guests in the worship will be Peggy Shepard from the organization We Act for Environmental Justice and Paul Galley from the Columbia Climate School. So join us this Sunday for informative and inspiring worship. And allow me few theological observations. Firstly, building a house is a powerful theological theme. In Ugaritic mythology, entire cycle of 2 tablets is dedicated to building house for god Baal. And in the Bible, building and furnishing tabernacle is a substantial part of the book of Exodus and then the Numbers. And later, building of Jerusalem temple in the First Kings. And then after destruction, rebuilding it in Ezra and Nehemiah. It is clearly an important theological theme. Yes, you can say this is about temple, but temple was exactly named as house of God. So we are again here talking about building houses. Secondly, in this parable, the climate catastrophe is a clear metaphor for eschatological last judgment, last crisis. Now, think about it. It gives me almost goosebumps in the logic of this parable and our experience. The ultimate crisis, this climate catastrophe, cannot be blamed on God. But quite appropriately, it is a result of our own callousness, greed, and egotism. And these are two other aspects you might not realize about this biblical parable.